Hour number 2 right here on the Early Line, Sirius XM channel 159 on the grid. It's Donnie and Kevin, as always, carrying you through here. Got some interesting topics to go over here in the NBA. Yeah, we had some topics in pro football, some Major League Baseball, but the wheel always turns in the National Basketball Association. We were talking about Kyrie Irving. Where's he going to go? Kevin Durant, where's he going to wind up? And how about this? Some rekindling of, oh yeah, there's a team at Madison Square Garden still looking to add a superstar. And Kevin, could that superstar be Donovan Mitchell?
It might just be. Here's the deal right now. These teams we know had very, I don't want to say intense, but they got quite far along in their conversations about a month back, right? Around when the news was really starting to heat up, it felt like in the trade circles there. Rudy Gobert made his way to Minnesota, and they kind of knew in Utah, we're not a competing basketball team. We're going to have to figure out, let's see what we can do. The thing with the Jazz is the bar that they set on the Gobert deal, they probably said, all right, well, Donovan Mitchell should be able to net us at least that much. And that's where they're starting these negotiations with all these teams. An insane amount of first-round picks is what they're looking to bring in, plus players. The Knicks have a lot of first-round picks to offer up, a ton. It's what made them such a perfect fit because the Knicks have been hungry for star talent. There wasn't a ton of new information, Donnie, in this report, and that's not slander at all, from Shams and Tony Jones of The Athletic. It was just to let us know that these talks were re-engaged. But one thing that did jump out was how the idea that training camp is approaching. It made it seem as if there is a growing sense of urgency here. If you're the Knicks, hey, we want to get this done. And I'm sure if you're the Jazz as well, we're not trying to do the NBA season tips in a week and we just brought Donovan Mitchell in. You want to lock this deal in. The Knicks right now, I would say this at least, Donnie. If you talked about what team is the favorite for Donovan Mitchell to play his first game of the season on, and you include the Jazz on that list, I still think the New York Knicks would be the favorite.
It seems like the Knicks have been the favorite throughout once we demanded, or should I say, I'm not even so sure Donovan Mitchell demanded the trade, but it was demanding of that organization that changes get made. Trade a couple superstars, get a new head coach in here, and see where it works out. My question to you, though, is what are we waiting on? Because if it seems like the Knicks are the front runners here, where's the argument point? What's the tipping move here that's going to take to push this deal over the top and get Donovan Mitchell to the New York Knicks?
It's a really good question. So we also heard that the Wizards and Hornets are the other two teams that are calling right now on Donovan Mitchell. My best read on this situation is the Knicks, and good for them, have realized they have more leverage than the Jazz want them to believe. That's probably a part of that report there. Hey, Hornets and Wizards have kicked the tires, and the Knicks call them back and say, yeah, but they don't have all of the picks that we do. Just because we have 10 picks doesn't mean you're getting 10 picks because nobody else is offering you 5 picks. So here's 5, and let's get this thing done with. And the Jazz are probably trying to play hardball. And I think the reason why the Jazz, Donnie, are a little more willing to do that is they're expected to be a bad basketball team this year. So they are probably hoping that as time continues to tick, it pushes the Knicks to an uncomfortable position.
It's really interesting to talk about as we welcome in the radio audience here on a Wednesday morning watching the Early Line Sirius XM channel 159 right here on the Sports Grid Network. It's Donnie and Kevin here in the morning. Are there any other suitors? Because let's just say we get to the hot plate right now and the Knicks and the Jazz, we just can't make ends meet here. Where do the Utah Jazz turn at that point?
I guess the Wizards, because I just think the Wizards make a little more sense than Charlotte. I could be off base there, but the Wizards should be moving with desperation because of the Bradley Beal contract. You should be trying to make sense of it all. You bring in Donovan Mitchell, that's your 1-2 punch, and hope that brings you postseason basketball to at least, again, then be able to justify the move to bring Bradley Beal back at that massive, massive contract point. But it doesn't seem like the Wizards have enough to get this deal done. The only way the Wizards have, Donnie, enough to get it done but haven't yet is if they're holding back because they think they're involved in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, which I struggle to believe.
Superstar players changing teams, Kevin, as we know, certainly changed the landscape of those organizations. Utah moving on from Donovan Mitchell, that's going to have a devastating outcome where they signal we're not going to win this year, next year, maybe the following year until we retool. If we take a look at the New York Knicks adding a superstar of this level of Donovan Mitchell, if we look at the totals there, the Knicks, 39.5 as a total for the season. And if we look at the Jazz, 31.5. Are these edged in here, or should I say hedged in here, anticipating a move? Because 31.5 is not a lot of wins here for the Utah Jazz.
Definitely not. So I think, interestingly enough, the Jazz one seems hedged in, no Donovan Mitchell. But the next one does not seem to imply that Donovan Mitchell will be around here. Just for perspective, the Knicks last year, Donnie, won 37 games. Bringing in Jalen Brunson, if he's able to be what they think he is, should help them. 10 teams last year won 43-plus games in the Eastern Conference. If the Knicks also now add Donovan Mitchell, they should be a 500 basketball team, Donnie, providing a ton of, I think at least, a ton of value on their early number there on 39.5 wins.
Should be fun to see where he winds up, but we're going to wind up talking about the NFL. Come on back next.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
People are going to the betting window
Betting
and
above
betting
the
them now
rim.
before the trade takes place.
How dare
Diamond
they do
bets.
what's fiscally responsible? See how it plays out. Buffalo's going all in right
Football
now. They
full
need
circle.
all their chips in the middle of the table. It's do or die for them.
And Godwin being out, they've had a little bit of a shakeup.
In-game live all
You
access.
could take the points, you could take the money line, and
We had to go to San Jose, too. Maybe a small play on San Jose. I'm going to go both underdogs here. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Wow. In-game
Phillies here,
live. Prime
over minus
time.
128. We do have to lay up a little bit of wood here, Donnie, but I think against Patrick Corbin,
But boy, you want to give me 8.5 points with a desperate team facing
Get
elimination.
the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
And if we just take a look at the rushing numbers, right, 1,100 yards is the benchmark for us. What last year as a rookie, Kevin, we just talked about Dalvin Cook. He can never stay healthy. How about a rookie playing all 17 weeks last year with Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers? How about him getting 307 rushing attempts as a rookie? I thought we were led to believe also the Pittsburgh Steelers were, we're about winning games, but we don't just hand things over to guys that get drafted and are drafted
Only
high.
on Sports Grid. Fantasy Sports Today.
Ezekiel Elliott declines even more and loses, let's say, 15% of the touchdowns and of the yards. He's being drafted way too high in fantasy this year.
I mean, I guess Ezekiel Elliott's supporters will point out, well, before he suffered the injury last year, sprained, I want to say his MCL, but I'm not, don't remember specifically, but it was a knee injury. Before the injury, yes, he was good. But it was 4 games into the season.
The Sports Grid Network. Pharrell, coast to coast.
Tell me why you're so high on Herbert and the Chargers. They never get it done.
Number one is injuries. This team seems to be snake bit. If that goes their way this year, the only thing that's going to prevent them is coaching. The coaching and the offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, he has a strong-armed, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league in Justin Herbert, who is young and can throw the ball all over the field. And they have one of the shortest target depths of any team in the NFL.
The Sports Grid Network.
Head-to-head at the wide receiver position on a Wednesday. Wide receiver Wednesday, if you will. We've done this a couple of times with teammates. And I like the opportunity to see where value lies on Cooper Kupp versus Allen Robinson. Now, I'm not telling you that Allen Robinson is going to be the number one wide receiver in L.A. That would be silly. But maybe there's a little more value on A-Rob's season-long projections compared to Kupp. Maybe not. Let's dive into it, DRS. Cooper Kupp we'll start with, though. Receiving touchdown number 11.5 for the season. Receiving yards, 1350.5. On the surface, jumps off his value. Last year, 1947 receiving yards, 16 touchdowns, 145 catches. All of that carried over into the postseason. The dominance did not stop one bit for Cooper Kupp, the reigning offensive player of the year, the Super Bowl MVP. Where are you on Cooper Kupp with some of these season-long numbers?
High as the moon here, Kevin. And the reason I say that is, and you can tell me, well, he had 1,900 yards last year. He's never even come close to that in his career. That was a high watermark year. Tell me the quarterbacks, Kevin, that he played with in 17, 18, 19, and 20, comparable to Matthew Stafford. So it comes down to, it's not even Cooper Kupp for me. And I'm just going to assume that he's going to be healthy to play between 15 to 17 games like he's done just about every single year outside of 2018. So I tell myself, what changes here? Nothing for me. You still have Allen Robinson on the other side, but wide open every single play is Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford apparently, Kevin, knows how to get him the football. So you look at 1350, and a lot of things have to go your way to be roughly a 1,400-yard wide receiver. But what leads me to believe that Cooper Kupp isn't that guy this year? And unless you have that old top, well, he did it 1 year at 1,900, he's going to go back to being a 1,000-yard wide. No, he's not. As long as Matthew Stafford plays and plays decently for 17 games, he's going over 1,500 yards. What has shown you he's not going to do that? Did you watch last year? Did you watch the playoffs? Did you watch the Super Bowl? Hey, look, our job is to stop Cooper Kupp. You didn't stop him at all last year at any level in any game. He's cruising. Like, you look at that, coup, because I know it's a comparison to Robinson. You see the 850, like, man, come on now. This guy's going to go way over 850. And then you look at the 1350, just do the math in your head. Whoa, that's a big difference here. Let me just take the secondary guy, which is a lot of the ways that I like to use these, teams and these players. Not me. Cooper Kupp is getting 1,500 yards this year. And the only way he doesn't is if he gets injured. He's getting it.
Well, that is always the caveat with this, right? Is that fear of injury. But there's a couple of ways that I think we can try and put this into perspective for people. If he does play 17 games, he needs to average a bounce over 7. It's like 79.5 yards. So I'll put it to you like this, Donnie. If Cooper Kupp's receiving yard number was going to be 79.5 on a weekly basis, would you sign up to bet the over every single week? I think you would, based on what we had seen recently from Cooper Kupp. 1350.5, man, that's a lot of yards. It is, but it isn't. Last year, there were 6 players that had over 1350.5, including Mark Andrews and Deebo Samuel. Again, when we talk about the game's elite pass catchers, unless you're removing Cooper Kupp from that list, which I don't think you can, then he should be in there. And the other thing would be, well, how do you replicate that? 1964, 1,964 yards in 2012 for Calvin Johnson. No, it had to be the only year, though, where he was anywhere near those numbers. The year before, 2011, nearly 1,700 yards. But the year after his 1,900-yard performance, 1,492. And that was only in 14 games, by the way. So, yes, Cooper Kupp can replicate it. Where the concern would check in, aside from injury, which, by the way, exists on every single one of these guys we talk about season long, is does Allen Robinson command a lot more than everybody else the Rams had in that pass-catching room? Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, Robert Woods is how the other wide receivers rounded out. Van Jefferson, 800 yards. Higbee, 560. 556 on Robert Woods in his 9 games. Odell gave you 305 in 8. It kind of was a one-man wide receiver room. Allen Robinson has the talent, he's done it in his career, to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver. If you were to be concerned about Kupp, That's where I think it would come in. So where do you land then on Allen Robinson for these season-long numbers?
Over 850. I mean, it's hard because not everybody can go over, right? So, hey, what about Cam Akers? Yeah, over. What about Matthew Stafford? Yeah, over. What about the two wideouts? Over. Higbee, it's over. I know you can't play that game, but Cooper Kupp is just such an anomaly at this point, almost getting 2,000 yards last year, plus the extras that he picked up in the wild card rounds, divisional rounds, and also heading into the Super Bowl. But if I look at Allen Robinson, he's been one of my favorite wide receivers since he's come into the league because it says something about a guy not playing on great football teams and still being able to perform. I don't know how you wanted him to perform last year. Donnie, 410 yards. Guy's a disaster. Probably gave up on his NFL career. Did you watch the Chicago Bears? Did you watch them when we used to have standing ovations when they would throw for over 100 yards in a football game? Now line him up with Matthew Stafford. And talk about Allen Robinson. We have those catch radius arguments. One-on-one football, he's one of the best wide receivers in the game, which means Matthew Stafford is a risk taker. Oh, look, Allen Robinson's one-on-one 40 yards down the field. Jared Goff and Justin Fields, I can't throw that. Dump it to the running back. Matthew Stafford, green lights, wide open eyes, launching bombs downfield. He has to. Again, prefaces on you getting injured. There's no reason to believe Allen Robinson is not going to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver in this offense. We do remember it's Stafford and McVay back there, play calling and the trigger man. That sounds good to me. Allen Robinson has a huge bounce-back year this year.
8 seasons for Allen Robinson. The years that he was unable to go over 850 and a half, his rookie season, only played 10 games. The year he tore his ACL, he only played 1 game. And then the nightmare that was last season, where yours truly did have a season-long over on A-Rob, by the way. 12 games, 410 yards. I've never seen anything like it. You knew the talent was there, but the opportunity just was not. It was like they were shunning Allen Robinson or something. I mean, he wasn't even the most targeted man in the room. It just didn't work out for A-Rob in that way. Realistically, this is something we talked about when we did the head-to-head with Chase and Higgins a little bit. But I think it applies way more here than there. Donnie, if I bet both of these guys over their yards numbers, what's my worst-case scenario? A split? I mean, honestly, unless Stafford is injured, both are injured. I mean, you're starting then to bring in so many variables. I might just put my, hand up. How did I even see this coming? And you let it be there. The yardage numbers, I think, for both of us jump right off of the page. Touchdowns can maybe be a little more touch and go. But this gives me a chance then to bring up a bonus player here in the head-to-head segment. And that's Darnell Mooney. And I bring that up because Allen Robinson is gone. You would think, well, all right, who's going to be the lead man? The guy that was the lead man last year. Darnell Mooney, Donnie, was a 1,000-yard wide receiver somehow in that offense. But now another year better, we're hoping at Justin Fields away from Matt Nagy, 925 at a hook. Any juice on Darnell Mooney?
There's a lot of juice on Darnell Mooney because you're right. He gained 1,000 yards last year. But let's take a look at this, Kevin. Do you know he had 140 targets last year, which is incredible when you think about that Bears offense. But here's the reason why you need better quarterback play. 140 targets and only 81 catches. Where were the rest of these balls at? Just fired off the ground and into the stands at this point? If he's going to get 140 targets again, where do I sign up? That's a 1,000-yard receiver, whether he wants to be or not at that point.
The thing is, this is where a touchdown number does interest me. I understand they're bad. But he caught 4 last year. He had 140 targets. I understand that. And maybe the yards are the play, Donnie. But they got to be able to throw a couple of touchdowns this year, right? I mean, Justin Fields last year threw 7 touchdowns in 12 games, and Andy Dalton threw 8 in 8 games. There just has to be more touchdown opportunity for the Chicago Bears. And if Darnell Mooney's the number 1, 5 touchdowns should not be a big ask. Major League Baseball preview is coming up here on Sports Grid.
Your heart's racing. The clock's running out. It all comes down to this. We're talking pregame. 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 Get locked in with Game Time Decisions. Your hosts, Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, will get you ready for game time. Everything you need to know before a game goes off the board, with the bet slips to back it up. Make your best bet with live odds updates, late breaking news, up-to-the-minute injury reports, and real-time analytics from inside the sportsbooks. All the odds, all the action, from sports wagering insiders and industry pros like Donnie Rightside, Cam Lou, Cousin Sal, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and more. Get the winning edge every weekday afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 4 Pacific. It's Game Time Decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
The morning after.
LSU has the same odds to win the SEC at 100-1 as they do to win a national championship, also 100-1.
Well, I'll say this. There are going to be a lot of really bad takes about year one head coaches, and a lot of people jumping to conclusions because there are 8 programs who have played in a national championship in the 21st century who have a first-year head coach. That includes Virginia Tech, because technically they played in a national championship in the first week.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
Definitely a starter in every fantasy football league. He's a top 12 quarterback in fantasy, but no longer the thought process where I guess he could be a number 2, the second overall quarterback or the third. Remember in years past, he was being drafted right after the first couple of quarterbacks, but no longer the case. He's kind of like a consolation prize as opposed to the main starter for a lot of people.
The Sports Grid Network. Pharrell, coast to coast.
I don't care if they play this game in Puerto Rico. I mean, the bottom line is, it doesn't matter Seattle or Anaheim. Robbie Ray's stuff has been beautiful all season long. He's gotten stronger. He's led the majors in innings, the last 2-3 years. The guy's an inning eater. He's going to go out and do his job. He's going to go out and get into the 7th inning tonight, and he's going to strike out and go over. He's going to get another 9 or 10 tonight.
The Sports Grid Network.
Major League Baseball preview time right here on the early line. It's Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside taking a look at this baseball board. And today starts in the same spot that we've started so far every day this week with Phillies Reds. The expectation for the first time we saw this game, Phillies runs. Early, looked like it was good, left waiting. Game number 2, expectation, Phillies runs. Got a lot of them, 11. Game number 3, is the expectation Phillies runs?
The expectation is a Phillies win. I don't know how many runs we're going to get. Early afternoon Major League Baseball in Cincinnati. Lodolo is on the mound here. 4.64 ERA, 4.64 xFIP, Kevin, over the past 30 days. But he's done well here. 87 batters he's faced from the right side over the past month. A 320 weighted on base percentage and an ISO of a 108. Now, the Phillies lineup does very well against left-handed pitchers, specifically over the past 30 days. Take a look at some of these elevated numbers here on their weighted on base percentages. Just to start, the anticipated lineup today started out of the leadoff spot. 528 weighted on base percentage. Hoskins 411, Bohm 515, Realmuto 500, Castellanos 341, Segura a 782. But I do think those bats get quelled a little bit today because I do believe this is the first time that Lodolo has seen the Philadelphia Phillies. If we line up the Cincinnati Reds and how they hit, they don't really hit all that well. Ranger Suarez on the mound, the lefty, so 2 lefties in this game. An xFIP over the past month of a 3.25. Lefty and righty splits. He's been wonderful, Kevin. Versus lefties, again, keep in mind Suarez is a left-handed pitcher. How about this ISO power number? 0. To righties, a 106. I think the ball stays in the ballpark today at Great American Ballpark, and we look at an under, but also another Philadelphia Phillies win.
How about that? The Phils right now checking in at minus 164. Always like to give you an idea on that first 5 run line, minus 122 to lay that half a run. If you want to get involved with the Phils early here, that team total, just because we had talked about it so far to open up this series, might as well close it out and give you an idea. 4.5 right now, which is the lowest number, just to kind of give you an idea maybe of why there is a little hesitation for DRS there. Lower number, lower expectations on the Philadelphia Phillies. Orioles, Blue Jays are back at it yesterday. What do you know? The Baltimore Orioles beat the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, it's Groundhog Day, man. This is what happens, I feel like, when these teams meet up, no matter the circumstances. Ross Stripling, that's who's supposed to save this baseball team? I don't know about that, but it's a minus 174 number on the Toronto Blue Jays. Total's a 9. How do we feel?
Should be able to hit, but also yesterday you should have been able to hit for the Toronto Blue Jays and weren't able to do so. But how about this, though? The FanDuel Sportsbook posted yesterday a plus 125 odds boost. You know what it was, Kevin? Either Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or Aaron Judge to homer. First inning, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. goes deep, and the reason why I liked it was because, you know what? Love that team total 4.5. Blue Jays were going to be fine here. Oh, 2-run shot early. Yeah. That was about as fun as it got yesterday for the Toronto Blue Jays. So if you're lining it up today, you're right, Stripling's on the mound. Not a great pitcher, but neither is Voth, who from his Washington Nationals, few years, doesn't leave a lot to be desired. But if you're looking at the way the lineups match up, you like to look at Toronto because they're so right-handed heavy with their power bats. That's the way you want to look. So if it's a left-handed pitcher, they probably have an advantage. But Voth is a right-handed pitcher. Now get this, Kevin. Last 30 days, he's only faced 34 batters from the right side. That's a 230 weighted on base percentage and an ISO of 091. When you look at the lineup today, once again, for the Toronto Blue Jays, there's going to be 8 right-handed batters in that lineup. So Voth pitching to his strengths here. Could we see yet another victory by the Baltimore Orioles? Because how do you get into the playoffs, Kevin? Beat the teams that are ahead of you, which still technically the Blue Jays are. This is an amazing run here for the Orioles, who got no help at the trade deadline and still find themselves in the playoff mix.
Baltimore Orioles plus 550. Plus 550 to make the postseason here on the FanDuel Sportsbook. The standings right now have them just a half game back of the Toronto Blue Jays, which means with a win tonight, they actually would be in a playoff spot right now. By the way, the Toronto Blue Jays have blown a major opportunity because when you look at the talent on that team, DRS, this should not be where they are. And the Yankees have been so vulnerable now for over a month. We should be saying, hey, man, any worried about the Yanks? Division lead down to 5? It's been double digits the whole way. Toronto's not been able to make noise in the way that they should, and they should be disappointed with themselves because of that there. Tampa's at a 9. We don't talk about that, though, the division race there. And we're going to get to the Yankees-Rays spot here in a minute. Right now, it's minus 3,500 on the New York Yankees, plus 330 on the Blue Jays, 50-1 on the Tampa Bay Rays. Would you even consider betting a Toronto or Tampa right now in this market?
To win the division, no. It just seems like a bridge that's a little bit too far at this point to sort of get back into it. Even though we've said the Yankees are floundering, nobody's putting the pressure on them. We talked about the Mets and the Braves, right, just about a month ago, turning that double-digit lead into basically 1. Nobody's pushing the Yankees, so they're comfortable right now saying, hey, we'll get it worked out, but we're not under pressure to even get it worked out at this point.
It's interesting because I think the Yanks are playing such a concerning brand of baseball right now. We have a lot of games left, but 9 does feel insurmountable, right? I think when you consider that the Mets are minus 550 with just a 3.5 game lead, it's easier to understand why the Yanks are such a big favorite. There's probably better ways to try and attack the New York Yankees than against them in the division right now. Maybe it's betting on the Tampa Bay Rays. Again, Yanks have dropped 3 in a row, first 2 of this series here. Herman has the ball against Kluber. Man, I don't know. This is one of those you keep the eyes, over the head the whole game. You peek through. You hope that somebody score. The answer is probably not. What do you think here, Yanks Rays?
Brings back little flashbacks here to a show called In Play Sports Tonight, where we said for so many nights, you know what? I do like the Yankees. Let's hold off here. First inning, how many Yankees got? 0. How about the second? 0. Third and fourth? 0-0. Fifth inning? 0. Now's the time to strike. Why? No, not because the Yankees are going to put up a lot of runs, because they only need 1 run to get you a push at this point. How did we get so far back there? And how do we get it now where it's the Yankees can't hit the baseball? It's the Yankees in the Bronx where it might as well be the biggest ballpark in the world because the Yankees just don't have it moving. Now, lining it up today, Herman's not a great pitcher, so it's not like you have a stopper out on the mound that's going to guarantee that he goes 7 innings and gives up 1 earned run. It's not going to happen. But if you look at Kluber on the opposite side, he's not the old Corey Kluber of the Cleveland Guardians of the past, right? We said, no, he can dominate baseball games, but he's been efficient. Last 30 days, Kevin, an xFIP of around 4. Not great, not terrible. Strikeout percentage about 20%. Again, not great, not terrible. But how about this? We know the Yankees are going to do their damage from the right-hand side of the plate. Corey Kluber's a right-handed pitcher. Take a look at this. Lefties. We'll start with lefties here against Corey Kluber. Dominate him, Kevin. 392 weighted on base percentage, ISO of 255. So if we look tonight, Benintendi, Rizzo, maybe Hicks. That's 3. That leaves 6 batters from the right-hand side, which Corey Kluber, over the past month, a 304 weighted on base percentage, which is above average, and also an 050 ISO power number. So Kluber pitching to strengths for himself against the Yankees here. Do we see another low-scoring game even with these 2 pitchers? I wouldn't bet against it. The Yankees just can't get out of their own way. They need one of those games, Kevin, 4 home runs, 11 total runs, 16 hits to break loose. But until I see that, I don't know if I can back them at this point.
It feels like it's been a really long time since we've seen one of those games. How like a Domingo, or not a Domingo, an Aaron Judge, like first inning home run, right? Like that would be nice. I know it's a banged up baseball team. Yesterday, you're dealing with Gleyber Torres in the leadoff spot, right? And DJ LeMahieu's banged up and Stan's banged. I know all of that there, man. But it's just ugly baseball right now for the Yankees, right? Like for so long, it was like, man, how is anybody going to be able to match the scoring output of this baseball team? Even the Dodgers have passed them in that regard now, too. When we talk about the league's best offense overall. But again, that's because how do the Dodgers have the most runs scored and the fewest runs allowed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not necessarily common. Like, we're the best offense and best defense. Like, that's not how that works, right? But the Dodgers are just built different, as they like to say. What do we got coming up here? Mets, Braves, how about it? Now, before we do the game, because I hate to rush through Max Scherzer having the ball here, road favorite. These divisional odds, the plus 430 numbers out there on Atlanta. See, this, and I've said this, the Mets are my pick to win the World Series. I don't care about the division. You'd like to have it. I don't care. Yeah. It's not going to change if they're a wild card team. You have been a little more, open to the idea, though, that Atlanta is going to win this division. Is plus 430 enough for you to make that bet?
I do believe so, because if you can upend Max Scherzer today, that leaves the division at a 2.5 game number, which is basically a coin flip over the final 40-so games of the Major League Baseball season. Now, I already bet it at a much lower price. So I can't say, 430, that's exactly what I have when it was 2 games and 3 games previously. But I got to tell you, the Braves aren't going anywhere. They're not. And if the Mets were playing unbelievable baseball and still couldn't put them in the rearview mirror, why? Because the Braves were playing great baseball as well. Huge game today.
I wonder again, because so often when we're having these conversations, the strength of schedule numbers that I look at there, which, I mean, not that they're different numbers, it's just, who they're supposed to play, the gained win percentage, seem to factor in, though. The Mets are supposed to have the 4th easiest remaining schedule in baseball. Braves about the 11th easiest, but still a gap there. All in all, the difference right now is the Braves do get to host the Mets quite a bit. What do we expect from this game and the rest of the board? That all comes up after this quick break on the early line.
Your heart's racing. The clock's running out. It all comes down to this. We're talking pregame. 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 Get locked in with Game Time Decisions. Your hosts, Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, will get you ready for game time. Everything you need to know before a game goes off the board, with the bet slips to back it up. Make your best bet with live odds updates, late breaking news, up-to-the-minute injury reports, and real-time analytics from inside the sportsbooks. All the odds, all the action, from sports wagering insiders and industry pros like Donnie Rightside, Cam Lou, Cousin Sal, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and more. Get the winning edge every weekday afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 4 Pacific. It's Game Time Decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
The morning after.
LSU has the same odds to win the SEC at 100 to 1 as they do to win a national championship, also 100 to 1.
Well, I'll say this. There are going to be a lot of really bad takes about year one head coaches, and a lot of people jumping to conclusions because there are 8 programs who have played in a national championship in the 21st century who have a first-year head coach. That includes Virginia Tech, because technically they played in a national championship in the first week.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
Definitely a starter in every fantasy football league. He's a top 12 quarterback in fantasy, but no longer the thought process where I guess he could be a number 2, the second overall quarterback or the third. Remember, in years past, he was being drafted right after the first couple of quarterbacks, but no longer the case. He's kind of like a consolation prize as opposed to the main starter for a lot of people.
The Sports Grid Network. Pharrell, coast to coast.
I don't care if they play this game in Puerto Rico. I mean, the bottom line is, it doesn't matter Seattle or Anaheim. Robbie Ray's stuff has been beautiful all season long. He's gotten stronger. He's led the majors in innings, the last 2-3 years. The guy's an inning eater. He's going to go out and do his job. He's going to go out and get into the 7th inning tonight, and he's going to strike out and go over. He's going to get another 9 or 10 tonight.
The Sports Grid Network.
Get right to it. Scherzer has the ball in Atlanta tonight. They're better than minus 150, they being the New York Mets on the road here. They're looking to avoid an Atlanta Braves sweep, if I'm not mistaken, unless these teams are going to meet on a Thursday, and it looks like they are, so never mind. Not a sweep. Baseball, no consistency there when it comes to this stuff, so you try and say something, doesn't work out. Pulled it back, though. No worries about it. Nevertheless, Scherzer, Jake Odio has it for Atlanta. What do we like here?
You're supposed to win today for the Mets. This is the game you're supposed to win. And also, at a minus 154 price, they're priced to win this game. But having said that, Scherzer is supposed to win it, as I just said. Does this account almost like a double win for them if they can go ahead and beat the Mets again and beat Max Scherzer? Because it's apparent that you're not sending your best pitcher out of the mound. Jake Odorizzi, xFIP over the last month, Kevin, over a 6. Not a big strikeout guy, and right-handed batters getting the best of him. And quite frankly, if you look at that Mets lineup, which usually has been hot for the past 30 days, they line up extremely well against right-handed pitching, and especially non-elite right-handed pitching. If we look at some of these guys in the middle of the order, starting with number 2 all the way down to 7, take a look at some of these weighted on base percentages, Kevin, over the past month against right-handed starting pitching. Marte, 340. Lindor, 447. Alonso, 348. Vogelbach, 414. McNeil, 358. Naquin, a 427. The Mets should win today. But the old DRS looks at this, goes, come on, Mets, can you choke one more time here to make this official? Because the difference between having a 4.5 game lead and a 2.5 game lead, monumental. And it's not like, oh, yeah, You beat Taijuan Walker, but why don't you try on Max Scherzer for size? If they get the Mad Max today, all bets are off on this division. The Braves just might have enough to overtake them.
Here is the thing that I'm maybe seeing a little differently from you. I think Atlanta actually needs this a bit more because Scherzer has seen them twice. The first go around in Atlanta, goes out there, a lovely 7 innings of work, only 1 run, gave up a solo shot. Max Fried, the losing pitcher in the game. They had a doubleheader at Citi Field. They were going to throw Fried in the first game. That way they could win that baseball game instead of doing the Max versus Max rematch. Instead, Fried said, no, give me the rematch. They caved. They were swept on that day. Max Fried lost to Max Scherzer, actually ended up with a concussion, hasn't pitched since. Scherzer has pitched twice against Atlanta, he's gone 7 innings in both of them with 1 single mistake, a solo shot. It's a .64 ERA. Donnie, it's DeGrom waiting tomorrow, and we saw what that looked like in Citi Field. If you're the Atlanta Braves, 18-1 first 2 games, Strider's talking his mess, Michael Harris is signing his contracts, and Scherzer and DeGrom just make sure this is a clean sweep, even Stevens, no blood. That's bad for the Braves here, to be honest with you. I actually think the owner... Now, that does not mean they're going to try more. But the takeaway for me is if the Mets win this game is, the Braves are drawing dead here. Because the Mets are the better baseball team with 2 arms that have their number.
You're right about it. And also psychologically, Kevin, heading into the playoffs, which is a good chance that both of these teams are probably going to make the playoffs. There's a chance that they can play each other. So if you're having games where you say to yourself, all right, our best shot against the New York Mets, if we're the Atlanta Braves, is let's just not match up against Scherzer or DeGrom. Good luck in that in the playoffs when they set their rotation to make sure you face those guys multiple games if it turns out to be a 7-game series. And if you are Max Scherzer and you go out and dominate the Braves again, and then tomorrow Jacob DeGrom, you go out and dominate that Braves lineup, you're saying to yourselves, who cares what else happens here? Just get us to the playoffs where me and Max can go out and handle our business and we'll move on to the World Series or further on in the playoffs. These are monumental games. Can you imagine this? If you have the first 2 games taken by the Atlanta Braves, and then the next 2 games we have Scherzer and DeGrom, the Braves beat them too to pull within a half-game lead in that division, and also by saying, we just took down your 2 top foes. We'll see you in the playoffs and beat them again. I'm enthralled by this. I love the fact that it is not a 3-game series, as we found out. It is a 4-game series, and the big horses are going to be on the mound for the Mets.
We move over to Cardinals-Rockies. We joked the other day on the radio side that Quintana had flashed himself over to Cy Young status with his form. Donnie, he had a no-hitter going through the first 4 innings. It lasted the first 5. The FanDuel Sportsbook had a live specials tab. It was for some guy in the Marlins to hit 3 home runs in the game. It was like 18-1. And then Quintana to throw a no-hitter. And this was like posted after the first 4 innings. I'm like, now hold on a minute now. Like, what is actually going on here? Now, he ultimately was gotten to in the 6th inning, but the Cardinals did win the game 5-4, going over a listed total of 7.5. Groundhog Day. Same number provided here today with Montgomery and Marquez on the mound. Huge favorite, though, for St. Louis, above -200. Any value on this board?
I don't know if there's value per se, but just because you look at the numbers and say, it's a -205, Kevin, I'm never taking that. This is one of those games you might want to check into and take because we all know Colorado away from Colorado, not the same baseball team. But also, if we take a look at Montgomery over the past month in Major League Baseball, solid xFIP around 3.6 here. Take a look at his splits. He's a left-handed pitcher. Lefties, a 194 weighted on base percentage and an ISO of 0. Righties, 82 batters he's faced over the past month. That's a 303. With a 158 ISO power number. So certainly doing his job. And then if you line him up against the team that he's going to face today in the Rockies, take a look at the first 5 batters in the lineup. ISO power numbers, Kevin, over the last 30 days against left-handed pitching. 0, 0, 091, 071, 107. And then also, if we take a look at the 8 and 9 hole hitters today, I've actually never heard of these guys in my life. Servin and Bernard. Their ISO power numbers, you guessed right. 0 and 0. They should dominate. Then you flip it over to the St. Louis Cardinals on offense, markedly better here. Take a look at their first 4 batters in the lineup against right-handed pitchers, who is going to be German Marquez today, who quite frankly has really struggled with left-handed bats. 388, 352, 436, and 415. Now, if you're looking for maybe some extra base opportunities to bet over 1.5 bags, maybe a home run or an RBI, I just gave you the notion here that Marquez, a right-handed pitcher, has struggled against lefties to a 462 weighted on base percentage and an ISO of 292. If we look at the first two guys in the lineup today for those Cardinals, Nootbaar and Gorman, how about these numbers? Weighted on base percentage 388, 352, ISO power number 190/294 split. So maybe they can do damage. Usually you look at those prices at 2-1 or higher, you want to stay away. I think the Cardinals really clean up today.
How about that? Cards team total today checks in at a 4 flat. Rockies team total 3 flat. So again, you see the expectations from the books here is not a lot of runs. If you like a run line, plus 112 on St. Louis with Montgomery on the mound. Early returns for them in terms of bringing Jordan Montgomery over. I think they have to be pretty pleased with right now in St. Louis. 11 innings, no runs allowed. It's a small sample size. That's why I say pretty pleased. But if Montgomery can go out here today, give them a quality start against Colorado, it's a team that needed pitching at the deadline. Quintana and Montgomery were the two arms that they brought in. If you can get back-to-back wins, that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for here when you're dealing with a divisional race like they are in the NL Central. So I probably should make sure we get to Dodgers-Brewers, but we have to make a quick stop in between with the Rangers and the Athletics. Odier! I mean, now when did we get Odier and Pepois on them out against one another here, man? I mean, we're missing out on the goods. Nevertheless, totals of 9 in Rangers. Athletics. How about that? Minus 154 number on Texas. Where's the juice?
The two Frenchmen on the mound here today, and it is Happy Adam Aller Day. Why? Because let's just say since June 1st, right? We'll take a look. Today, if we take a look at the pitching card, it's a full slate on the schedule. There's 24 pitchers that have at least 30 innings pitched since June 1st. You have the best pitcher on the mound today, Carlos Rodon, at a 75 xFIP minus, and then you have the worst, which is Adam Aller, at a 156. So you say to yourself, and I come on there and they say, break this game down for me, Donnie. All you have to do is, I don't care if there's 4 batters in the lineup for the Rangers tonight, which means he gets 5 outs in a row, right? And automatically, he's going to give up the team total tonight. It's a simple cap there. You take the worst pitcher by a large margin and you say to yourself, well, who do the Rangers actually have? The answer Donnie gives you is, it doesn't matter who the Rangers have. They're scoring runs tonight. It's Happy Aller Day. Hey, look, you might not get these opportunities. Maybe with the Oakland Athletics, you might get these opportunities as I say that. Because typically, how long can these guys stay in Major League Baseball? You pour some out like, oh, man, so sad to see that pitcher go. Maybe he completes for the rest of August and also September. Every 5th day, it's Happy Adam Aller Day. And today is no difference.
How about that? The last 2 times that he was on the mound, they're not all credited to him, but just the opponent put up a 7 spot there, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of goes to show. Look, the team total is a 4.5 on the Texas Rangers. So that's your number today that you're looking at there. All right, Dodgers-Brewers. Yeah, Milwaukee wasn't going to be favored twice, were they? Tony Gonsolin's got the ball. Eric Lauer stands on the mound for Milwaukee. You got to be feeling a little emboldened, though. Again, handled their business yesterday. All it took them was 11 innings to get the job done. But what's the deal, man? Talk to me on these Tony Gonsolin numbers. I'm sure people see 14-1, a nice little 2.24 ERA. But, man, I was worried for a little bit there. The lousy performance in the All-Star game, which was in the middle of some bad starts before and after. But so far in August, he's been really, really solid. 11 2/3 innings of work here, just 1 earned run. Only 5 total hits across those near 12 innings pitched right now for the LA Dodgers. Is Gonsolin back in a groove? Therefore, the Dodgers should be back in the win column?
I do believe so. They should win this game. But having said that, you look at this Brewers lineup, which are much maligned for most of the year. And I always joke saying, hey, they get the timely hitting, which is just a nice word for saying they stink and they might be able to win a game 3-2. But if you're looking at Gonsolin, you're right. He did have that bump in the road, sort of resurrected it and got it back in the right direction. He's got some pretty good splits. But if you look, just at right-handed pitchers going up against the Milwaukee Brewers over the past 30 days, the Brewers have done some damage. Yelich, a 391 weighted on base percentage. Tellez, 432. Renfroe, 384. Wong, 443. Urias, 403. They've done some things here. But as of yesterday, I had that good vibes here on the Brewers. Should be able to get this done. Almost blew the game. Had to come back in extras and win it. It all worked out. They were a slight favorite. But today, getting those opposite vibes. The Dodgers really should be able to step up to the plate and hit Lauer, even if the prices here are a little bit high. Road team Dodgers to lose 2 in a row, I don't think that's going to happen. But Brewers are a little sneaky. But if I had to put money down, I'm going to ride Gonsolin out here.
Who's right now, Don, if you were to start a hitter prop parlay, who would be option number 1 for you in this entire game? If you were to take a quick look there, Dodger or Brewer? I'm trying to see something here. Because I'm pretty close on a Gonsolin 4+ and a Lauer 4+, getting me to -175. But I might need a hitter to get in the mix.
I mean, Betts, let's take a look at versus lefties. Betts and Turner, 2 righties to start it off. How about this? ISO power number, 462 for Betts, and Turner, a 652. So maybe those top 2 guys that are righties in the Dodgers lineup might be able to do some damage today.
Yeah, Turner and Betts, by the way, in their own right there, checks in at -135. We were going to get to Astros White Sox, but where's the time gone? Quickly, Donnie. Kopech Valdez, what happens? Yeah, I know, because you're a clown and know how to put a rundown together.
Here, right here at this point.
No idea what you're doing. I don't like Kopech. That's all right.
Yeah, I don't like Kopech here, so I'll leave it at that at this point here. But nobody cares about this game, so it's not a big deal.
Nah, come on, man. We have 40 seconds left. I don't like Kopech is what you're going to give the people. Astros team
I'm not really
total
big fan of Kopech.
-148. Yeah. You just what don't you like about him, Donnie? Is it
put Adam Engel in? Maybe we could do that. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, La Russa. Man, good luck. Listen Up is next. We'll see what you actually get there. My goodness. See you tomorrow.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
They play less games.
The early line.
Take a look at the top 4 seeds here in the Big Ten. They're going to play less.
Rodgers and
the morning
Russell
after.
Wilson. We saw movement in the marketplace like
Fantasy Sports
the
Today.
Cleveland Cavaliers are a little thin as well.
Newswire.
-160 favorite on the money line today for Arizona.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
That's where they win cups. They win Stanley Cups over there. Give me the
Game time
Kind of
decisions.
bizarre when you consider everybody is out for the Warriors.
In-game live, all access.
I like Vandy against Bama. I think Vandy can win the game, take a 4.5.
In-game live, prime time.
The PGA champion.
In-game live, overtime.
done before the final bet.
Get the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid. The morning after.
Well, the Niners have a better overall year than those 2 other teams, being the Jags and the Jets.
You know, what's funny is I think you'd get a lot of people, though you make a good point about where the number would sit. I think you'd get a lot of people to bet the Niners. I'm high on the Niners. I still would take the combination. I'm low on the Jets. I know I'm probably walking into a real bad trap here, and I'm going to live with it. I am very optimistic about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Sports Grid Network. The early line.
Donnie, in this AP Top 25, what caught your eye?
Yeah, if we're looking just at, the old guard, right, which particularly pertains to the SEC, Alabama number 1, Georgia number 3, Texas number 6. So 3 teams in the SEC in the top 6. Wouldn't shock us again, Kevin, right? 2 teams out of the final 4 will end up being from SEC competition. Notre Dame at number 5.
Only on Sports Grid.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow with your Daily Numbers game. Well, are we betting in Williamsport? Pennsylvania allows mobile betting. How about in the Little League World Series? I think not, but the clear winner is the economic impact study that's done in eastern and central Pennsylvania every year. Parents come, relatives come. COVID wiped out the tournament then last year. No parents, no crowds. And the bottom line is this is one of those situations where we're making up for lost time. You're adding a couple of new teams. You're also increasing the bracket. Remember last year when a Michigan team won, there was no international side. The normal format focuses on the international side, the ESPN television deal, mega corporate sponsors, and tourism dollars that you couldn't even believe. The bottom line is getting back to normal could mean $100 million of economic impact for Pennsylvania.
Last segment of the day here for a Wednesday on the Early Line, Sirius XM Channel 159, rated on the Sports Grid Network. Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh, as always, 7 to 9 a.m. Bring in that fire and that heat before we hand it off to the morning after and Ben Stevens and the rest of your Sports Grid programming. Now, we talked about a lot of great topics today. NFL, even worked in some NBA, just had a great segment with Major League Baseball, and now we keep it with Major League Baseball. Why? The Braves lock up Michael Harris II, and I'll tell you why the Braves are the best organization in baseball. Listen up. Be quiet. Michael Harris II, minted millionaire. Why is that? 8 years at $72 million. And I could talk about the Atlanta Braves for the next hour of how much I admire their franchise. Yep, they were dominant through the 90s, only picked up one World Series victory, but you saw last year doing it the right way, picking up another World Series victory. The front office making the right moves at the right times, repeatedly, rinse and repeat. So let's take a look at this year. And so many organizations say to themselves, we have a good young guy in our, lower ranks, single A, double A, triple A. Don't bring him up. Don't bring him up to the majors. We might have to pay him sooner than later. And you know what the Braves say to that? Hey, if you can play, we're bringing you up. Let's see what you got. And you know what? If you can play and play well, we want to sign you long-term. Buy out your arbitration years. Take a look at what the Braves have done with their core franchise. Austin Riley signed till 2032. Olsen to 2030. Harris to 2030. Acuna 2028. Grissom 2028. Albies 2027. Strider 2027. You get the gist of it here? Good baseball players making the right moves here, signing, getting money in their pocket, and still being able to be a free agent when it's all said and done. The Braves are above the market here. So many teams chasing their tail when the Braves consistently make the right moves in the trade deadline markets and also making the right moves by bringing players up, letting them flourish, paying them, and locking them up for quite a few years. Fantastic stuff out of the Braves. Make sure you stay tuned now for the morning after with Ben Stevens right here on The Grid.